Gray matter, or gray matter, is a major component of the central nervous system, consisting of neuronal cell bodies, neuropil, dendrites and myelinated as well as unmyelinated axons, glial cells, astrocytes and oligodendrocytes, synapses, and capillaries. Gray matter is distinguished from white matter, in that it contains numerous cell bodies and relatively few myelinated axons, while white matter contains relatively few cell bodies and is composed chiefly of long-range myelinated axon tracts. The color difference arises mainly from the whiteness of myelin. In living tissue, gray matter actually has a very light gray color with yellowish or pinkish hues, which come from capillary blood vessels and neuronal cell bodies. Structure. Gray matter refers to unmyelinated neurons and other cells of the central nervous system. It is present in the brain, brainstem, and cerebellum, and present throughout the spinal cord. Gray matter is distributed at the surface of the cerebral hemispheres, cerebral cortex, and of the cerebellum, cerebellar cortex, as well as in the depths of the cerebrum, thalamus, hypothalamus, subthalamus, basal ganglia putamen, globus pallidus, nucleus accumbens, septal nuclei, cerebellar, deep cerebellar nuclei, dentate nucleus, globose nucleus, emboliform nucleus, fastigial nucleus, brainstem, substantia nigra, red nucleus, olivary nuclei, cranial nerve nuclei. Gray matter in the spinal cord is known as the gray column, which travels down the spinal cord distributed in 3 gray columns that are presented in an H shape. The forward-facing column is the anterior gray column, the rear-facing one is the posterior gray column, and the interlinking one is the lateral gray column. The gray matter on the left and right side is connected by the gray commissure. The gray matter in the spinal cord consists of interneurons, as well as cell bodies. Function. Gray matter contains most of the brain's neuronal cell bodies. The gray matter includes regions of the brain involved in muscle control, and sensory perception such as seeing and hearing, memory, emotions, speech, decision-making, and self-control. The gray matter in the spinal cord is split into 3 gray columns. The anterior gray column contains motor neurons. These synapse with interneurons and the axons of cells that have traveled down the pyramidal tract. These cells are responsible for the movement of muscles. The posterior gray column contains the points where sensory neurons synapse. These receive sensory information from the body, including fine touch, proprioception, and vibration. This information is sent from receptors of the skin, bones, and joints through sensory neurons whose cell bodies lie in the dorsal root ganglion. This information is then transmitted in axons up the spinal cord in spinal tracts, including the dorsal column medial lemniscus tract and the spinothalamic tract. The lateral gray column is the 3rd column of the spinal cord. The gray matter of the spinal cord can be divided into different layers, called rexed laminae. These describe, in general, the purpose of the cells within the gray matter of the spinal cord at a particular location. Clinical significance. High alcohol consumption has been correlated with significant reductions in gray matter volume. Short-term cannabis use, 30 days, is not correlated with changes in white or gray matter. However, several cross-sectional studies have shown that repeated long-term cannabis use is associated with smaller gray matter volumes in the hippocampus, amygdala, medial temporal cortex, and prefrontal cortex, with increased gray matter volume in the cerebellum. Long-term cannabis use also alters white matter integrity in an age-dependent manner, with heavy cannabis use during adolescence and early adulthood causing the greatest amount of damage. Meditation has been shown to change gray matter structure. Habitual playing of action video games has been reported to promote a reduction in gray matter. History. Etymology. In the current edition of the official Latin nomenclature, Terminologia Anatomica, substantia grea is used for English gray matter. The adjective gria for grey is however not attested in classical Latin. The adjective gria is derived from the French word for grey, gris. Alternative designations like substantia cana and substantia cinerea are being used alternatively. The adjective cana, attested in classical Latin, can mean grey, or greyish-white. The classical Latin cinerea means ash-colored.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.